right, ladies and gentlemen, it's night number 2 of the Jackson Nationals. And I found a pretty cool spot to start today's video, up on the flag stand, getting ready to roll another night against the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series in the Shark Racing number 1 tee. If you saw yesterday, the opening night of the Jackson Nationals, it really couldn't have went much better for our team. Some maybe would call it beginner's luck. Went quick time, got through our heat race, drew the 2 in the dash, and ran 3rd in the feature. And it was really awesome to score a podium and be parked on the front stretch at the end of the night. So the simple goal, if everything went perfect, is we would just replicate yesterday and try to put ourselves in a spot to be successful again tonight. Sometimes though, that's easier said than done. Before we jump into today's show, I do want to talk about the wind because it plays an interesting factor on the track and how our cars go around. I mean, I can't really say from experience because I've never raced in windy conditions. I feel like this could end up being the most if it stays like this, but it makes the cars more ill-handling to drive. Going down the straightaway, you know, going over 100 miles an hour, taking a hard corner, wide open, like that might just be a big factor today that we might talk about throughout the video. I don't know, they try not to usually race in conditions that get too bad, but today just feels a little bit more on the extreme side of things. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, we're gonna have engine heat soon, then roll right into hot laps and qualifying, try to put together a strong showing. Just wrapping up qualifying here for night number 2. Still have about 20 more cars to go, but right now we're currently sitting 3rd. I felt like I'm in one of those situations where I didn't feel like there was much more I could have done on my lap besides I lost a little bit of time off of 2, but a lot of it is like you're literally trying to run as low as you can but not get in the grease, and there's like a solid car length and a half down there on the bottom where it's just soaking wet. So it's a double-edged sword. You don't want to run through it, but you also want to open up your corner enough and make the track as short as possible to cut off as much time. Right now we're 3rd behind Selzy and Zierfoss, and there's a lot of good guys to go, and I'm worried if maybe, you know, a couple guys burn in a little lower, it might just shorten up the racetrack and the times will, you know, drop. Drop as in, I mean, I guess just get faster. We'll have to see, we'll watch. We did beat quite a few good guys though, so car's right where it needs to be. Just we'll see how our pill draw and where we went out might affect where we end up. Well, I was a little nervous in the last clip. I was worried that there was a possibility we could get bumped just if the racing surface got that much better, and luckily it really didn't. We ended up getting bumped by 1 car, and that was actually my teammate Logan Schuhart. He ended up ripping off 3rd quick, so we ended up 4th. These heat races coming up next are gonna be interesting. Just because the track, I mean, it looks kind of wide when it's rolled in like this, but the bottom is still there, and once guys start moving down that direction, it could dirty the whole surface, and then it just makes it hard to run anywhere but right down by the berm. So with this format now, we're going to be starting 6th. Luckily qualifying was big, so we got some valuable points, but we really need to try to maintain or pass 1 car here in the heat race to give ourselves an opportunity to be in the dash. That will be coming up next. We have to watch for a minute and then strap in. So I ended up with a pretty difficult heat race there. Started 6th, finished 6th. Needed to get one spot to make the dash. I think that's gonna put us on the outside looking in. There was just too many movers in other heat races where things happened and guys were able to go from the 3rd row and at least advance forward. Where in ours, it was so tough that no one really passed. After that first corner or two, you all start spreading out. I don't know if there was really a whole lot I could have done different. My lane didn't go like the inside, and so I was forced to actually go into protect mode and tuck in right behind Casey Kane. He started 5th, as I knew if I went backwards I was going to be in trouble, and the bottom was just so strong, and if you got strung out in the middle, you're basically out there in no man's land. So maybe could have got by Casey if I could have just had a little bit better first lap, but other than that, we were all kind of, you know, we're just fighting for the same piece of real estate, and you spread out and things happen. I made some okay laps, made a couple really good ones, and then made some where I was just off. But don't think our car's bad. It's just kind of how heat race action can be. You have to take it for what it's worth and try to get all you can to be starting farther up front. But I think tonight we're going to be a little deeper. So they just posted tonight's lineup. Like I kind of thought, we ended up missing the dash, so we're going to be rolling off from the 6th row outside starting position, which is 12th. I knew it was just that one spot. We needed the one spot. Regardless though, that's behind us. Shark Racing boys are finishing the last minute changes to the car. Right now the surface is pretty wide. A lot of guys are now making the top work as the night has went on, and the bottom's still okay. We'll have to keep an eye on it. It sounds like it's pretty narrow in 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2, it's almost a little crumbly from guys hitting the berm, and then they also might do some track prep here in a minute, so we just got to really see what it's going to do. That's going to be the main challenge, and then with where we're starting, we just have to get going. The start is so important to kind of get on offense quickly and start attacking. Forward momentum in 410 racing is just, I mean, well, that's the key, and when you're starting farther back, you don't have a lot of time to waste. So the goal, these guys are getting me tuned in. I got to go out there, do my job on track. I know we're not on the front row like we were yesterday, but that's part of the game, and we definitely still have a solid opportunity to move forward. Well, the pits are just about all cleared out, and I'm walking up to the track as another night here in Jackson is complete. Top 10 tonight for the 1T, so that feels good. Technically, we started 12th and finished 10th. I was hoping maybe throughout the 25 laps to get a little bit more. The main thing that I battled behind the wheel, well, one, the racetrack was wider, had less grip, definitely got slick, even though they worked it right before we went out. But the main thing that I was battling is I had to pull the wing back a little too much, a little early on. And the reason I felt like I needed to do that is even with the fuel load, I just didn't have great right rear stick. It almost felt like that corner was kind of skating around. It didn't feel as planted, so I needed to grab the wing to try to get it planted, get a little bit of drive. But then throughout the race, like it hurt me in other areas, maybe would be the best way to put it. So overall, started 12th, kind of stayed in 12th, maybe dropped back a spot or two. Then there was a couple of crashes that we missed and bumped us forward. And then there on the last restart, the 15 got by us. So we were kind of hanging around 10th, 11th, 12th the whole race. I think if I maybe had just a little bit more, I could have worked my way towards, maybe 6th through 8th. Now, one thing I will say, Jackson, it's a tough racetrack. It's hard to make a lot of passes without just being really, really stellar. Everyone kind of gets spread out after a couple of laps, and how 3 and 4 was and how 1 and 2 was, you kind of just get in a train around one line. But again, a huge shout out to Shark Racing. Bobby, Tyler, and Blake were making fine adjustments on my car all night to try to get us closer, and I think we're right there. We just got to keep working and see what we can do in tomorrow's $25,000 to win finale. All right, I'm gonna get out of the wind. They're gonna finish prepping the racetrack. We'll see you guys all back tomorrow. Deuces.